right, hi everyone.
Hey.
We have a shorter week this week since we did not have school yesterday on Monday. So we are going to be kind of jumping a little bit ahead by reading the story this week that goes along with our unit and our essential question, but we're not going to have the same worksheet in our packet that we did last week. So we're going to kind of smush a couple things together and get rid of another page. So this week we are going to be reading a story called Maria Celebrates Brazil, which I think is really interesting to learn about other cultures. And our essential question this week is, how are families around the world the same and different? That's a pretty cool question, because maybe you've noticed that there's families near you that are the same as you in some ways, but they're also different in many other ways. Yeah. I know that even our families have similarities, but they also have some really big differences too. So we're going to learn about a little girl who lives in Brazil, and her culture might be a little bit different than yours. So I think Mrs. Grant is going to start reading for us today, and then we're going to be going over some stuff at the end.
All right, Maria Celebrates Brazil. Maria and her family are in their bright, hot kitchen. Please, Mai, por favor, Maria begs. Mai speaks Portuguese. This is the language of Brazil. No matter how much you beg or plead, you must go to practice. The parade is next week.
It's not fair, says Maria in English. Mai does not know a lot of English. Maria is surprised when she asks, "What is not fair about going to practice? You must do the right thing." "Anna invited me to her house," Maria answers. "I want to go." Pai says, "Maria, the parade is important. People from around the world come to see it. They try our food, see how we dress and how we live. It is a chance for us to share our culture."
I know, but I really want to see Anna, says Maria. Pai says, "Maria, you can see Anna another time. They are giving out costumes at practice today." Maria thinks about her father's words. Pai is right. She and the other children have worked hard for a year. They practiced their dance steps over and over. They even made their own bright, colorful costumes.
"You're right," Maria says to her father. "I'll go to practice. I'll tell Anna I cannot visit her." 1 week passes. Lots of people line the streets. The children in Maria's group are wearing their sparkling costumes. They know each dance step. They dance to the beat.
The crowd moves aside as they make their way down the street. When the crowd moves away, Maria sees a woman with a camera. She is hurrying. The woman scurries by Maria. She puts her camera to her eye. Maria smiles from ear to ear. She is excited to be in the parade. Click! The woman takes a picture of Maria. Maria is proud of her hard work. And there you have it. There is our story.
What a nice story. I like that. So this week we're going over 2 skills, and I know some of these words are a little bit hard to see, but the strategy that we've been working on last week and this week is to visualize. So I bet when you were reading that story, did you visualize the sparkling costumes?
I did.
Because I sure did. So visualizing is that strategy of making a picture or even sometimes a movie in your mind of what you're reading to make it come to life. And then our comprehension skill this week that we're going to be working on is the character, setting, and events. And a character is a person or sometimes an animal that's in a story. And the setting of a story tells when or where the story takes place. And the events are all of the things that happen within the story. So today we are going to be practicing character, setting, and event by filling out a worksheet that's in your packet. So if you haven't already, you might want to grab that worksheet packet so that you can do it along with us.
Awesome. So Ms. Marquardt is changing this to show you guys the same sheet that you have in your packet. Okay. And it looks like this. It is, what is this, Tuesday's worksheet?
This is Tuesday's worksheet.
At the top, character, setting, and events, and you'll see there are 2 boxes for each. So now that we've read the story, we're going to see if we can remember some of the characters in the story.
Yeah. In fact, there were several. So I noticed that on this paper there was a second set of boxes. If at any point you cannot fit everything in one box, feel free to put it in the box below.
Yes.
If your handwriting is really small and tiny and you can fit everything here, that's perfectly fine too.
We're writing on a whiteboarded, so we have a ton of space to write, but you're writing in smaller boxes, so if what we write on here bleeds into the next page or on the next box, that's okay.
Yeah, and even if we don't get everything and they want to go back and write down more, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we want to go over are the characters that are in the story.
Mm-hmm.
We might want to start with the main character, the one who was the most important, who it was mainly about.
I think that was Maria.
Yeah. So Maria is our main character. And she's the one who needs to dress up and she needs to wear her costume. But who else was in the story?
May was in the story, M-A-E, right?
Yeah. So we have May.
Or I think it was pronounced Mai, but it looks like May.
Yeah.
And then Pi was, I think that was her dad?
Yeah.
P-A-I?
Ooh, spelled differently.
I know, so it's confusing.
I love learning new names and pronunciations. Yes. That's awesome. All right, so we have characters, and I think one other character that they talk about is Anna, right? Her friend that she wants to go see in the story, but she needs to practice instead.
Yeah.
Great, so that's a really good remembering of that story. Again, if these don't all fit in that box for you, it's okay to go down below.
Yeah.
How about the setting of the story? Maybe we can work on this one together.
Yeah.
So the tricky part is I feel like the setting doesn't all take place in the same spot, right?
It starts out in Maria's kitchen.
Yeah,
but
that's
it doesn't take place there the entire time.
Okay, so we could write both. So I'm going to write Maria's kitchen. That's an apostrophe there. So we're going to write Maria's kitchen. But by the end of the story, she's like dancing in her costume.
Yeah, they're like outside at the parade performing.
Yeah.
So like in the city streets.
City streets, yeah.
Nice. So there's two settings in this story.
There is. And sometimes stories only have one setting, and some stories can have lots and lots of settings. It just depends. All right, I think I'm going to hand the torch over.
All right, so we're going to be talking about events, which it's kind of like what we did last week, where we had 3 key details, which ended up being the main events of the story.
Yeah.
And now we're just kind of adding in characters and setting to get a more complete picture. So if I remember correctly, Maria's attitude kind of changed in the story.
It did,
yeah. At the beginning, how did she feel?
Well, I remember her in the story really wanting to go to her friend Anna's to play.
Yeah, instead of doing what?
Well, instead of practicing for the parade.
And her father said that's not a very good idea. People, this is really your friends at the class are like relying on you really hard. The people who come from all around the world to see this parade are relying on you to like do your best, and
she made a commitment to participate in something, just like if you play on a baseball team or you sign up for something and you say you're going to be there, you really need to be there. So yeah, maybe we could write something down about how Maria wants to be, wants to hang out with Anna.
Yeah.
Or play with Anna.
So Maria wants to play with Anna. Should I say instead of practice, or should we keep it short?
We could, because then we don't have to make a whole separate event. Okay. That could be one event, and then maybe we could do one more at the bottom, and we can always challenge students to put an extra one in if they think of something.
Maria wants to play with Anna instead of practicing. I know that if I were writing this on the box on the paper, I wouldn't fit it all on this first box for sure. So feel free to go down to the next box. I'm gonna probably put like a little line here, but you guys,
on a whiteboard.
You're on a whiteboard, yeah. I can't really move the whiteboard up. That's not how it works.
It's not gonna happen.
So we could definitely add many events, but let's kind of maybe keep it to the main event. So.
Yeah, I think the next most important thing happens at the end of the story when Maria decides to participate in practice.
Yeah, so she ended up not being able to see her friend for a while, but it paid off because they put on an awesome performance, right?
Yep.
So,
Maria chooses
to practice.
Yeah, and be in the dance. that's pretty good. So just to recap, today we talked about the characters in the story, breaking up those people. In this case, it's people, but sometimes it can be an animal. The setting, which is where a story takes place. It could even include when, if there's a time on there, like a month or a season. And then lastly, Mrs. Grant, what did you go over?
We went over the events, the main things that happened in the story. And a lot of times it can be like the problem and the solution, which her problem here was she needed a practice, but she would have preferred to go with her friend. And the solution was that she decided to do the right thing, pull through for her teammates, practice, and put on an awesome parade.
Yeah. So I think we did a great job. Students are welcome to copy this down and go along with it, but just remember this strategy that we're working on, we're going to see it again later this week.
Yeah, so feel free to pause the video if you need so that you can copy this stuff down.